We'll look at some pictures and we'll just keep it going here for a little bit. Okay. So this is a TimberNook site?
Yep, that's at our site. Yep.
Okay. So what's going on here? What do
Yeah.
you
So we do have a rope swing out there. We purposely don't have a lot of equipment because we don't want to foster playground type play. We found that if there's too much of that, kids will stand in line.
ah, ah
And so we really want to inspire like imaginative type, building forts and that sort of thing. So we are strategic about where we place items and how much we put out there. The rope swing I like because it's something you might find in nature anyway. You might find a rope swing by a lake, and it has a lot of agency. There's a lot of ways you can use a rope swing. I've seen kids go upside down on it, spin, sit on it, all sorts of things. But this goes back to what we were kind of talking about earlier and the importance of going upside down. Therapists will often try to get kids in an anti-gravity environment position, like we want them to go against gravity. The easiest position to be in is standing up or lying down. And we want to get them in on all fours. We want to get them in all different planes because that's where you're starting to work on that vestibular sense we talked about, which is important for body awareness.
okay. Right. Right. It's all moving around.
Yeah. So this child's barefoot on a log. We talked about how sometimes in clinic settings we'll use a plastic balance beam and engineer it to be sensory, but there's nothing like the real thing. First of all, it's free. Like those balance beams often cost a couple $100.
Right.
There's multiple sensations happening, right? So the feet actually can get dirty here. If you're starting to compare it to a plastic balance beam where everything's sanitary, the feet can get dirty. They might be walking on moss for a moment, then they're walking on bark, and so they're going to get different sensory experiences as they walk and start to integrate that. The log may actually move as they walk on it. So now you're going to work on dynamic balance. There's probably an element of risk taking if it's over water. And then also like what is truly meaningful to a child. They might stay on that log for a minute, they might watch another child do it. But then there's all the other senses that are going on in the environment. They might hear bird sounds, which actually help with spatial awareness as well. That you orient yourself to the nature sounds around you. So you might hear a bird sound in one direction, a bird sound in a different direction, and what you're doing is you're orienting yourself to the sounds. So, and then you have wind, right? You might have temperature changes in the environment, and all of those different sensations help fire up many synapses in the brain. And so your chances of sensory integration and that organization of the brain are going to be higher when you step outdoors and into nature.
That's so interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Versus, say, the iPad that's
Yeah.
coming at you one direction.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting about that? We have this thing called therapeutic listening. It's special headphones. There's a lot of research around it, and it helps with auditory processing and all sorts of stuff. But the only rule is you are not allowed to listen to that music, that therapeutic music, when you're watching a screen because it actually keeps it from working. So I thought that was really
Oh,
interesting.
because
So
it's competing with the eyes.
it just is not, it's like it like counteracts the therapeutic effects.
Ah,
And I'm like,
interesting.
wow, isn't that interesting?
Huh. Whereas, I mean, there you are fully submerged in nature and you have everything around. Yeah, all the sounds and all the feelings and sights
Yeah.
working together. Okay.
Okay. These kids are having a war. This is actually around when my girls were young, and they always talked about currency for them were the tires for some reason. That was the thing that they would like wrestle for or go after would be stealing each other's tires. And so, there was one time in the woods where I heard a horn, like ooh, and I'm like, who brought a horn out here? But it was some kid crafted it out of nature. And these
Ah,
kids came running from all different parts of the woods, and there was a girl up in a tree with a feathered mask, and she was like, "You're a top spy, top commander," and she was appointing a hierarchy.
yes.
A battle with these boys that were the Rock Clan. And yeah, there's times where it really does get intense out there, but it is play. It's very serious, but it is their rules. And there's times that kids will come up to us and say, "I don't want to play this game." And we remind them, this is your choice. You guys came up with this. And oh yeah, no, I'm playing. And so they'll go back in.
Right, right. Well, I always find that fascinating too about play or about, making room for play or working with adults to be like, hey, play is really important and that whole thing of standing back and watching it happen. But then once you really say yes to play or commit to it, then all sorts of things happen. And there are conflicts or there are, disagreements and it is a challenge.
Yeah.
But that is also the beauty of it.
Yeah.
So they have those opportunities to even get into the weeds, so to speak, with it
Yeah.
all, and that's still key to negotiating life and each other, and like you said with your daughter and her boundaries and sense of self, and or
Hmm.
what's too much. When are you going to quit the game because it's not fun
Exactly.
anymore?
Right. They always have a choice of playing something else. And also, like, I think it's forming leaders. You see your leaders come forward, and it's excellent practice for that.
Gosh, they're so right, and it's different than like at school playground where there's kickball or soccer, and there's certain, if you're the best one at the monkey bars, you're the leader at the soccer.
Yeah.
But this gives you all these other opportunities,
Yeah.
different kinds of kids, different kinds of leadership,
Oh, yeah.
creativity, and yeah,
Dealing with different
um,
personalities and yep.
yeah. Okay, there's more of that swinging.
Yeah, I would say that's very similar to the other one. Just
Yeah.
you're seeing that child, a different child used in a totally different way.
So how do you talk about risk with parents who are wondering about
Yeah.
this, like who might not let their kid do any of this kind of stuff
Yeah.
normally at home?
Yeah, there's so much fear. I always jump to as a healthcare professional. I remember taking an ethics class and we were always taught to do no harm. And we're at the point where we're actually causing harm to children because we're overly restricting them and not
Yeah.
allowing them to move in ways that they were designed to. And we're affecting development so much that they're falling out of their chairs and they can't pay attention. We're getting behavioral issues. I had a teacher recently say, we're desperate. We're coming to Timber because we're desperate at the behavior issues that we're seeing. Like, this is ridiculous. So I go at it as like, now we're causing harm. And that's usually that helps. And then I educate them. Like I make the connections on when you allow this, this works on this. When you allow this. So there's a lot of education pieces.
Gosh, yeah. And there it's that counterintuitive thing too, where children have been restricted because adults think, oh, I'm protecting them,
Mhm.
but then the reverse is also happening.
Yeah. And I also say that, for TimberNook, we do have two rules. And anytime they break a rule is grounds to go in, like whether it's disrespecting, like it's being kind, really, is one of the
Yeah,
rules.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then the other one is that we got to be able to see them. We can't lose them in the woods. Like, so, but anytime they break a rule, like not being, be kind to nature, be kind to others and that kind of thing, we'll go in and be like, all right.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
if they're purposely breaking all our materials, we'll go in for that. So there's limits. Like it's not Lord of the Flies. And so sometimes people will be like, sounds like Lord of the Flies. I'm like, it's not Lord of the Flies. It's important to have boundaries, but we do have adults step back to empower play. And a lot of the play is like it might make you feel uncomfortable, but if it's truly play, then there's no issues. It's just when kids are take it too far is when we would step in.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay, so this is back to that clan play. So my daughter's the one in the green shirt, like she's probably
yeah.
orchestrating them. It's funny because most of her friends now are guys, and she's like as a big group of like homeschool boys that go on different adventures with her and her sister, and played hockey with all guys, dirt bikes, and so like but yeah, natural leader. They're forming a council. They were voting, I think, on something, on what was going to be accepted. They do like all the time set limits for each other out there of like, all right, like only my brother can come in because we're going to discuss, how our two clans are going to have this war. Like there's a lot of discussion too. It was funny one week that we were training, they kept talking about this war they're having and the whole week was just a preparation for it.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
like there was kids like training for it and stuff and the war lasted maybe 2 minutes. Like it was so
Right, right.
yeah.
That's amazing. And just, yeah, this is what children long for, like being outside with other children. I think there was a new article with like Lenore Skenazy in the Atlantic and Jonathan Haidt where they interviewed kids and said, well, what would help get you off phones, or what would adults do? And they were like, we want to play with other kids.
Yeah.
Like, I'd get off phones if I could go outside and do this, basically. And
Yeah.
yeah, so they have the opportunity, and once they do, they flow right into it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's that's my girl on the two on the left-hand side when they were young. Yeah.
Okay.
This community piece, we've talked about a lot of it, but it's neat to see the photos is like how the community shapes the individual.
Yeah, yeah. And then that scene on the
Yeah.
log with the plants and ferns and yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yep.
Love it. Okay, so I
Yeah.
got to visit some of the Mind Stretcher scenes some years
Yeah.
ago. But this was interesting. I remember showing this picture at some conference, and then later, I think it's when I first connected with occupational therapist came up to me and said, "Oh, this is so good for, their work and what they look at versus say the balance beam that everything's uniform or monkey bars where it's like, and playground equipment is designed to be uniform.
Yes.
Everything's flat. All the stairs are the same exact, height, and the rungs are this same distance apart. But here, this is all like wobbly and weird, and you use your body in a different way as you navigate that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is great. We actually have a tree just like this in our woods, and we will purposely, like when we do site visits and we help launch different timber locations, if they have something like this, we're like, keep it. Laconia Christian Academy is a TimberNook school, and they had one that fell and they ended up anchoring it just so that it wouldn't come up. But for the most part, yeah, it's just fallen logs. It's uneven, which is going to challenge your muscles and senses as you walk. It's unpredictable. What I like about tree climbing, and like for this is nice for kids that can't maybe go up
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they can work their way more vertically. And then what's nice about tree climbing is every time you hold a limb, it's different. Versus monkey bars is always hitting the same part on your
Uh,
hand. And so
right.
you're more likely to get blisters. And it might strengthen part of your hand and the rest of it remains weak. And
Yeah.
so you're likely to get a break. But with tree climbing, it's hitting different parts of your hand. And so, like, you're going to strengthen all the skin on your hand and muscles, and it's working on different parts of the muscles every time. It's like cross training. It's going to be better than monkey bars.
Yeah. So amazing. So then this was at the other end of that log, still,
Yeah.
sticking a little plaything there. But I
Yeah.
love that idea of like the monkey bars, like, okay, man-made, human-made things that we're trying to almost emulate nature,
Mhm.
but it doesn't, nature's got it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If we can't emulate it. This is in New Zealand.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great tree. That's a big nook there.
Yeah,
Remember nooking?
yeah.
I mean, climbing again, same thing. That's great.
Again, another
Hmm.
fallen log, and
Yeah.
different ways, right, to use your body as you shuffle across.
Yeah. Yeah. So tree climbing and like is working on all different aspects of the body. I mean, you're getting kids in different positions. They're putting weight on their hands. Doing a lot of pressure on your hands and crawling in that position helps develop the arches of the hand, which is really
Right.
important when you want to start doing fine motor movements. So, yeah, that's really all good stuff.
Oh, that's interesting. Right. So yeah, children not being able to hold pencils and all that stuff,
Yep.
but this is kind of all the different, yeah, strengthening all the
Yeah.
different parts.
And
They have this one rule of like if you're going to climb a tree, take off your shoes.
oh, really?
Yeah, which another one of these counterintuitive, like maybe I can picture over here saying the opposite.
I know.
Gotta put-
It's so funny. Yeah, as long as it's a choice. Barefoot, climbing trees, that's great. And it's just putting pressure in different parts of the feet and hands. And you're getting more flexible with the joints. We had two physical therapists train this summer. What was interesting that observation that they made while they were watching kids play is they said when they could tell that these kids had an interesting gait, there was a couple kids on the spectrum out there that had an interesting gait pattern, not very functional, but when they were in purposeful play and when they really got into the play, they would fix their gait for
Oh,
those moments. And I was like, that's so interesting. Anyway, I just something else I want to look into.
huh.
Yeah.
Then they were like poised and ready when they needed to be.
Yeah, it
They,
was like they went into a better position when it was purposeful. It was really interesting. It was more
huh,
functional gait.
huh. Stick play.
Yeah, I know. So, I think that we don't have a lot of rules around stick play. They obviously just can't hurt each other, but sticks are just, there's endless opportunities to play with them. And so, just educating people on the importance of stick play is the key. It's like the best toy out there, right?
Yeah. Right. It won a best toy of the year from the Play Museum here in
Yeah.
Rochester a few years ago. The
Yeah.
stick.
Yeah, the stick.
So then there they are
Cute.
working together.
And the other kids inspiring, they inspire each other to do things they might normally not do on their own, which is also cool. So that peer modeling,
Hmm.
that's really important. We have a lot of kids with special needs in our programs, but most of the kids, there's a lot of neurotypical kids too, but that's on purpose because the real world is children of all different abilities are together. It's not you pull all the kids with social skill issues and do something with them, and then you need a lot more adult intervention. In our program, we would never do that. It's not TimberNook. So, the kids that have social skill issues, they're immersed in the program, and those other kids model more advanced social skills for them or more advanced play skills and to bring them into a deeper level of play than maybe they wouldn't do on their own. So, anyway, that's just a side thing, but part of the environment is the other children.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So not only are they modeling like physically, oh, I wouldn't climb that rock, but he's doing it, I'm doing it, but also the idea of the social too. Or, oh, that's how you navigate conflict. I wouldn't have known how to do, or oh, there's somebody setting a boundary, or
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, this is in Australia. They all have their sun hats, and so this was like an after school program that was like in the bush, in the woods, and I just thought this was a very funny loose part.
That is a funny story.
Pickup truck. Yeah,
Oh,
pickup
I was
truck
like, what
bed.
is
Yeah.
it? That's awesome. They must have liked that because of the novelty of it, you
Yeah.
know, and using it in ways that you wouldn't think possible, which is
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
And here they are rowing it.
Yeah. Look, all the play affordances.
Yeah.
Tires.
Yeah, moving tires.
Bridge.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
Going
I have an
on.
upside down swinger
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. So important. And we
Yeah.
need to allow them to do that. Like a lot of schools are not letting the kids go upside down or on their bellies anymore or spinning on swings. So that's not helpful because we really need the healthcare world to work with the educational world to allow kids to move in those different ways.
Oh my gosh, isn't that funny? Like, so teachers or recess,
Yeah.
facilitators would be like, don't do that.
Yeah.
But really, you're saying, no, you do that. You need to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. To become safer. It's funny because they're trying to keep them safe, but to actually become safer, they have to go upside down.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thanks so much, Angela. Great to talk with you. And we'll wrap it up.
Sounds good.
See you
Thanks
next
again
time.
for having me. All right.
Yeah.